Welcome to Framework Fortune. I'm your host, Ben, and we've got a co-host, HHTrader, in the house. What's going on, HH?
Nothing much, man. Another humid, hot, beautiful Saturday.
All right, and it's definitely been quite interesting weather all across the country, along with political weather and market weather. So Smith N Wesson's been making some headlines after that spike on Friday. Now, I didn't see this. I didn't trade on Friday. What is your thoughts on it with that Supreme Court ruling? Definitely looks like it's trying to go back bullish.
I think everybody's stockpiling.
Yeah, there's a gap to fill right there at 1850 up to 20. If it could break that 200 at 17.
I think anybody that may have been bag holding, they're in a very good position. It really doesn't matter. I think people are going to be adding to it, especially those states that have the open carry and all of that. They're going to be a lot more. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more, but they will be more incentivized to just have more weapons. With
Yeah,
less with the government basically saying, "Yep, let's we need people armed and ready to go when things pop off."
yeah, and there was another ruling this week where apparently I am not on social media that much, but I've heard a lot about there's riots supposed to be happening because of the other ruling. Of course, that could be propaganda too. Who knows? I
Riots
don't know.
because of the gun
No,
rule,
well,
gun law.
partly the gun rule, but then the Roe v. Wade
Oh,
decision.
okay, yeah, yeah, they're gonna ride on that,
Yeah.
of course.
So
They going
that's kind of another reason why people would be buying more guns and ammo too if they think that's about to happen. After both of these rulings, ammo and gun stocks are kind of sounding pretty good, even though the market has been very down this whole
yeah,
year. We may see some
yeah.
nice pops on during the day. I mean, that was certainly a good pop Friday. Was that 1367 up to 16? So it's $3 rip. It's not too bad. Does got to get that 17 though, that 200 day, but it may not matter. And it does. Smith and Wesson does pay out a dividend. It looks like quarterly, and if they do go back up in price, that dividend would probably increase.
Oh
So yeah,
yeah. Well,
and
then
this is
again, I
only
mean, they might be they might hold back on the dividend with this much good news behind them and just focus on growing their company a little bit.
yeah, they only recently started out paying dividends about a year ago. Now on this monthly chart, it looks like a head and shoulders unless it can break about 22.
I think at this point, the technical analysis, it's almost like a psychological play. Even though
Yeah.
it has a head and shoulders, the news behind it is going to carry it upward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it is very low float now. I'm looking at it. 45 million shares looks like outstanding. You know what the float is right offhand?
The float is looking like 42 million.
Okay, so about 3 million less than shares outstanding, but still that's 40 43 million on a stock that's a household known name like Smith and Wesson with all that hype. There's definitely a lot of potential. And then now Stonks and Chomps, our moderator, and she has her own channel as well, Stonks and Chomps Gaming. If you're interested in PD gaming, go check that out. All those links are in the description. But Poww is one of her watches that she's been watching for a long time. This is POWW. A little bit higher float stock, around 115, but quite a bit cheaper. Did look like it started to uptrend as well. Not quite as much volume or activity yet.
How I think all of the stocks that have anything to do with producing or manufacturing firearms are going to be following this news up. Now, Smith and Wesson may be the lead, but I think there's going to be a lot of sentiment out here as well. Especially, I really think Powell can get back over
Yeah,
$5.
looking at that monthly chart, it looks like it's setting up for that actual break of five. Now, gotta give you credit on this one. You called the monkeypox rips, the monkeypox getting worse. SIGA, as you can see on that monthly chart, I think you were talking about it right before it shot all the way up to 14. But it has been pretty volatile, and the last week it has just went straight up this little beautiful channel, and it's still in that channel. Didn't drop. Did have a
Yeah,
little pull down there on Friday, but ended up closing back up in the channel, so no big deal.
yeah. I was definitely expecting another drop back through the 11, but it just continued to
Hmm.
hold. So I was like, well, looks like it's gonna hold.
We had some news on the 23rd, monkeypox cases in the U.S. to 173. They're saying 3,200 globally. I don't know if it's enough to get a huge amount of action in these stocks, but there's some buying going on for sure. And
Yeah.
these plays, SIGA and what else, GovX, are relatively low float.
Yes, it's one of those that it's leading the way, and that's what I was seeing when I first saw it. I was like, man, they're the first ones on this thing. Them and TNPX or TNXP, but they actually took off. They had a lower float, and people look for those low floats, and they just started exploding it. Yeah,
It did rip. There's that follow behind where it followed SIGA. That's the thing. It's all going to depend on how the Nasdaq opens Monday and what is going on in the headlines and all that. You know what I mean? Because
well, not only that, with this one, it's a little bit more of like kind of like Powell. It
mm-hmm,
can pop. It usually moves on sentiment. So like the gun law and the versus Wade, like anything the government does for this, I mean, this one gets some action because people see the ticker name, which is GOVX, and they're like, "Oh, the government."
mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw a study a while back about that. That retail traders, there's a portion of them out there that like trading ticker symbols that are similar to actual names or actual words more than like a random lettered one. So I could see how that GovX sounds like it's some type of government secret program or something. uh, but just like Coin, which we'll get into in a second, Coin for Coinbase, I guess it's easier to look at or search for than something like HYMC, where it's
Yep.
not any type of word, but
I think Coinbase with how it's set up, it came to a little bit of a bottom above that 40. I thought if it could break down that 40, maybe we could see it even lower towards like the 25s. I do know that there's been a couple of investment groups buying it up while it's down here at like $50, but I think it can go lower.
Even if crypto starts rebounding, you think it'll go lower?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Well,
looking for it.
maybe there is more decentralized exchanges popping up and becoming more relevant because they have a lot of a selection of coins and cheaper fees, and it's you're actually controlling your own money in your wallet, whereas Coinbase is centralized. If they have to turn anything over to the government, they're going to do it. So you may be right. Even if we do see cryptos bounce back up, Coinbase, we got this nice little triangle pattern here on the daily.
And also this trend that you got drawn here is inside of a massive downtrend as well. Chart
The
right
start
here
of
is the
drop.
reason that I'm pretty bearish on it. This chart, the monthly chart, this thing is continually getting knocked down and knocked down and knocked down. I'm thinking we can see it below 40.
Possible double bottom there on that monthly though. Well, no, those
Nah,
wicks ain't
they're
quite
just
there.
playing games.
I'm a little skeptical that it might go down lower if cryptos are rebounding. So we'll see what happens with that. Now I have a bunch of low float crypto plays on my watch list because they've been rebound. The cryptos have been rebounding, and these have started to get some action. BTBT all the way down to $1.19. As a previous one, I traded and got a good chunk of that rip, and then it just sold off since then. But it has started uptrending over Thursday last week to Friday yesterday, and it's right at all of this resistance, kind of a triangle there on the hour chart forming. So I want to see it possibly pop this triangle on Monday, and I think we're seeing the same thing on all the other Crypto plays Mara. Yeah,
Was
same uptrends.
BBIG a crypto play? I saw it and I thought I was like, wasn't this a crypto play?
Yeah, so BBIG is Vinco Ventures. I think they may be into some of the P2E gaming. But BBIG's float has gotten a lot bigger. They must have done some common offerings. So I don't know. I'm not too interested in that one. That also looks like a head and shoulders there on the monthly. Shoulder, big head, another shoulder starting to sell off. Yeah, I don't like BBIG. I like these other plays. BTBT, BTCS is starting to uptrend. Mara, which has made a pretty nice rebound from those lows of $6 up to 7.51, getting some pops here through the past week, but nothing crazy yet. But still has that same uptrend. Riot as well. Okay.
Swing trades because these things are grinding up. You gotta take a position and just hold it. Because Mara, like you traded it the other day, is about back to the area that you traded it at.
Yeah, well, they're grinding slowly now. That's what I'm saying. If money starts really coming back into the crypto market, though, these can get going pretty fast.
Exactly. Which is
So
why you want to swing trade them.
I'm not swinging anything in these market or in these in the stock market right now. I'm just sticking to day trading. So I'll just keep my eye on them and try to catch them before they're about to rip. They're setting up for some possible patterns. We'll see what happens with those. Crypto, I know there's a lot of stuff going around that crypto's over, but that's just propaganda and people trying to get clicks and views. The crypto is not going anywhere. The EV stocks now, that's another thing you've been starting to talk about.
Yeah.
What's your lead one on that?
So for the low floats, I've been watching PEV. PEV kind of got
Oh yeah, it got a little frisky.
outplayed. It got outplayed with other stocks that were moving up. But I do think PEV is going to be one of those that moves the next time that EV stocks are moving, and they have been moving. I've been watching larger
Mm-hmm.
stocks move, like NIO.
NIO is one I've been talking about as well. Been on a very nice uptrend for since the middle of May, really.
Yeah, and Lucid, and then Ford. All these stocks have just been moving up. Ford, they have a trade-in program where you can trade in your old, gasoline vehicle for a new electric vehicle. So all of these companies are doing switches over, and I'm just looking for those low flows that will react on the sentiment of the EV plays. And PEV is one of those, and I do think we'll see PEV get even hotter over the next couple of
Yeah,
weeks, months.
PEV just looks like it IPO'd recently, and I traded it this week during the lot. I think it was a Wednesday or something. If you guys caught that live stream, yeah, it was Wednesday. That's when I traded it. But this daily chart is bullish. All the EMAs have lined up with this big rip here, and it looks like it's just having problems with that 650 area.
I don't think it's having problems. Like I said, I think it got overplayed by some other things that were in the market that
Hmm.
really had no reason to be moving, like Revlon and all these other ones. I think what's been happening is people are loading up on PEV before it goes. Because I think
Indeed.
PEV, if we jump out there to, let me see, uh if we jump out to, I was reading the profile on Yahoo Finance, and they're everything that they do um facilitates EV and facilitates their vehicle production and different applications into EV. So it's like this thing's got its little fingers all in there. All it needs is just to be the stock.
Yeah, it definitely has a potential for sure because it held up most of its gains from that original pop. That 575 area or 550 it's held 3 days straight on it. So we'll see
Yeah,
how that opens
yes.
Monday.
One Life, he was like, man, I think PEV can get over 10 if it blows up. I was like, no, because I was looking at the overall market and where the eyes were in the market, and PEV just was not competing. It had like 5 million shares traded on the day when something like Revlon had 113 million. So I was like, this ain't the day for PEV, but I think its day is coming. because
Yeah.
I told him, hey, I think it can come down to the 550, and that's on my live stream. It was during a live stream. I said it's got to come back to the 550 and start to hold that level. And what do we see? It's been 3 days, and it's just holding that 550, holding that 550. So I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping it on watch. I mean, like I said, I already traded it that day that it had its first pop and made a little win off of it, decent win there. So I'm on it too. I'm looking very closely, but I like how it closed Friday, holding up all those gains. That's really important.
When we were looking back at INDO and it was at prices like this and it was going flat, and we're like, man, this thing ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
And then that thing put on its running shoes.
yeah. Actually, now that you're saying it, it almost has kind of
It,
that
it
same
looks
little
just like it, doesn't it?
choppy setup going on there. Now, oil did have a kind of surprised me how much it pulled back, but we are having a little bit of fake easing, I guess, of things for the moment, because gas did come down, but I don't
Nah,
think
man.
inflation's going to
I,
stop.
I called the 105 area like two or 3 weeks ago. I was like, this is where it's gonna stop here and just going to paddle around here.
Or you were right on the pullback. Oil may still be on the menu.
Yeah, that's what we've been looking at as well. Those double bottom plays. Yes,
Hmm.
it hit the 100, but we want to see it hit it again and hold successfully without
Yeah.
dying.
I wasn't expecting a little rebound on the Nasdaq on Friday because we've been seeing the Nasdaq sell off every Friday, and actually it got back over 12,000, which I did not expect at all.
Yeah. Gary had called on the I think it was NQ. No, it was a SPY. He was like, "Yeah, I think the SPY can get up to 380." So I know he profited good because when he called that, it was down at 370 something, 365, something like that.
Yeah,
And
down
he
on
was
this
like,
bottom.
"Yeah."
I mean, there was some bounce area. If you scroll back on the chart, this was like the last bounce area from the weekly, the 200 days there.
Mhm.
But if they crack these areas, and you can see it right there, even on the SPY, we still got some ways to go down.
Yeah. But in the meantime, take those short-term plays and be right.
Yeah, yeah. For the short time, I mean, it's not when people hear crash, they think it's all like everything goes straight down really quickly, and that's not the case. Crashes can take a little while.
And also, what we've been watching over on my live stream is the downtrend here. I drew the downtrend from if you get the trend line tool, the bottom, uh, this, nope, not that. Well, yeah, that too. But actually, the bottom candle as well. That's what we've been looking at. It bouncing off those bottoms.
Hmm.
If you know the trend, you know that the ultimate goal of it is to go down, but there are buying opportunities off the bottom of these the bottoms here. As you
Right.
can see, it pops every time it gets down there. I think we had talked about Amazon as well being down there to the 100 mark. Look at that
Yeah,
double triple bottom there,
I know.
looking nasty. That means if that thing breaks, it's gonna break.
Yeah, it's Amazon too. I mean, even though they did the split or whatever, Amazon at $100, investors, retail investors are going to buy that up. There's a chance to get Amazon shares again for 100 instead of 2,000 or 3,000 like they were at.
I think we can see it under 100. I think what they'll do is they'll try to spook out retail traders that bought at 100 and let it get knocked down to about 80.
There is this downtrend that it hasn't broken yet, though. Monday, if Monday the NQ and everything opens up green, opens up pretty bullish looking, I think we'll see some nice rebounds. But if Monday morning in like early pre-market before pre-market starts, if the futures are looking red, it may get sketchy because a lot of this stuff looks like it's right at resistance lines.
Oh, speaking of watches, I actually was looking into Roblox,
Oh, Roblox.
RBLX,
Yeah, what's going on with Roblox? Because I don't
and
follow that stock.
I've
What's going
I've
on with
been
it?
looking at the AI and all of the systems, and actually even on the charting here, you can kind of see a coiling. It had an original downtrend. coming on down there from the 141s on down. That's the original downtrend. And it started to branch away from that downtrend. And what I've been looking at is it had a little bit of a double bottom around there at that $20 level on that little flatness around 22, 21 area. And I'm just looking at this thing I was looking at the news on the AI, and I've been thinking, I've been looking at entertainment and VR systems, and everything has been picking up. People are
For
doing
sure.
more training, job training. They're doing all kinds of things in virtual reality. I was like, man, if this company, and let me see the actual news that I was reading on this one real quick.
They got a bit higher of a float than I would like, but I know what you're saying because in the crypto space, especially in the PT gaming, we're seeing a lot of job hiring for like every position type. Gods Unchained's
Exactly.
hiring, Axie's hiring, Luvium's hiring, like every blockchain project. PKT is hiring. If you if you caught the short on PKT from yesterday and you went and watched the whole video, Caleb said that they're hiring as well. So
Yeah,
that's one thing about the economy right now that is real different than before with crashes. There's so much money to be made online right now, and I think more and more people, as they're waking up to what the government's been doing to them with inflation and all the crazy policies, they are starting to learn about these financial systems and understand that they don't have to work these 40-hour work weeks for these bosses. They can go online and start getting paid to play games and esports or do research for companies, advertise and marketing, and do it all from at home with no boss. And
exactly. And
you
that's
know,
one of the things that I was looking at with Roblox is how much independence that it provides. Like,
okay,
I mean, even any companies really that are in AI, but Roblox has been one that's been getting beat down for quite a long time and has finally started to coil off of its downtrends. And I'm thinking,
yeah,
what
it's
is it,
down quite a
$36
bit.
right now?
Yeah, 36.
I'm thinking that it could at least visit the 40 to $45 level if VR continues to pop.
Yeah, that's. I think you're being pretty modest on that. I think we sit up to this 200, up to 50-55. At least maybe on one day of a big pop up for a test of that 200 coming soon because we're up trending towards right towards it. 200 swooping down this channel. If it continues up, you can see it have a nice little pop over 50. I would say it
Yeah.
probably pull back below 50. It's not going to just break 50 and then hold, but that's another one to keep on watch. Definitely like it. You were mentioning Revlon earlier. You said you're real bearish on this. You're looking at this
I'm
like a short position.
yeah, man, I'm so bearish on this thing. This thing hasn't that pop that they had.
You think all the old ladies are going to stop buying their hair products during the recession?
I think so. I think they'll shift to mud and water.
Mud and water. I was thinking butter and honey, but okay, mud and water then. Girls, let us
Uh,
know. Does mud and water work well for your hair? Is it better than Revlon's products?
hey man, down and dirty, baby, down and dirty.
There you go. So
Yeah,
what's
but
going on with this thing? It definitely is running in that 200 pretty hard. Gotta.
every time that it has had a pop, we've seen quite a bit of a drop. And the bigger the pop, the bigger the drop for this one.
Mm,
So I'm expecting this thing to definitely return into that little trend that you just drew. What is the price of that? What, 350?
yeah, 390 somewhere in there.
Expecting this thing to drop. And because it went up on the hope that they would get a $10 million. I think this is the one that they had a the chance to get $10 million or something like that that we were looking at. Let's see.
Yeah, it closed Friday under that 200-day moving average, and so far, all three candles haven't been able to hold over that 200. So that does look like it's getting pushed down. It kind of is. I mean, it's broken that downtrend for the moment. There's tight downtrend, but this uptrend is pretty steep for that, I would say.
What would be the news that drops that makes this thing look good? They filed for bankruptcy. They got the potential to get the 10 million or whatever that they're trying to get. It's like I really don't understand why people
I
dump
think
money
this
into this
might be.
company.
I think this might be what it is. They're saying something about top 15 trending stocks on Wall Street bets as of
Oh,
Thursday via Swaggy stocks.
swaggy stuff. Yeah, they're gonna be swagging out, all right. All them shorts.
Well, other than that, I mean, there's not too much else that I'm watching besides the gold stocks that I've been talking about. DRD, AUST. AUST's just been kind of holding in a little triangle there, but gold really not doing too much. It's
Mhm.
being what it usually is, a store of value and just chilling. It does look like it's getting a little bearish though. Looking at the daily chart, the way it closed on Friday, we do have that little uptrend. So basically, there's a little triangle here that's got to break for it to pop back above the overall uptrend. If people start thinking the market's going to rebound and inflation's going down, if that's the thoughts, they think that the Feds have control, we may see gold and silver slip some more.
At this point, I think it's
I
the people
doubt
holding
it.
up the market, not the feds. I think the feds are just
No,
taking
no,
profit.
no. Yeah, no, the Feds, they've told us that. They got to decrease that balance sheet. But as I've been saying, October, they're going to reverse course. That's my prediction. I think it'll be October. Yeah. Anything else for him, H?
And that's it.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us as always. If you haven't yet, go check out HHTrader's channel. Link in the description and probably in one of the info cards above in screen to his videos, all that good stuff. And check him out live streaming most of the time, every week, most days on Twitch and on YouTube. And now, Framework Fortune and HHTrader are on Odyssey. So if you like a little bit of decentralized platforms that aren't quite as strict, come follow us over there.